Okay. Hello. So, maybe you're new here, maybe you're not. If you're new here, welcome. If not new here, thanks for coming back. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your view. I want to encourage you today to. Also, I'm on a bike. So, oops on that. I want to encourage you today to find something to do. Find something that lights you on fire in the best way. Not in a literal way. Something that sets you ablaze when it comes to passion. And I'm not going to tell you what you should do. There's a lot of things you could do. Cooking, if you feel inspired by cooking. Art, like painting. Farming, as I pass a little farm area. Whatever it is that sets your heart on fire, go for it. Do it. And just don't think about the cost or anything. Just do it. If you've been feeling bored, if you've been feeling like you don't have anything to do, oh my goodness, find something to do. That scared the heck out of me. Find something to do. There's no heck in me because it scared it out of me. I haven't said that in a while. But, yeah, because we're in some interesting times. I don't want to say we're in dark times, because honestly, there's a lot of things coming to light, a lot of things coming to surface. Also, I don't know why the bike sounds like this. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's slightly alarming. If it continues, I might have to stop. I'm gonna try to speed up and see if that, and then the bike just collapses on me. Okay. I think whatever it was, I got it out. Okay, cool. Well, speeding up helped. Cool. The alternative was slowing down. And that might be a message for some of you. Slowing down and really breathing in. I was talking to someone the other day about taking the time to celebrate yourself, and I think it's so important. And it's crazy to me to think that people don't celebrate themselves. I don't know. Personally, I don't do all that I feel like I could be doing. But at the same time, I like to take stock of what I have done. The fact that I make music, the fact that I have written a poetry book, I am working on another one, etc., etc. These are pretty big things. Some people talk about doing it, talk about writing a book, but never do, And chances are, if you are watching this, you might be one of those people that say it all the time, but then never do it. And I want to encourage you to just fucking do it. I mean, easier said than done, but I don't know. If there's no fears in your way, if there's nothing literally standing in your way other than maybe making time and energy for it, just fucking do it. If there's fears in the way, I can understand. We can work on the fears part. But when it comes to things that you are fully capable of doing, but you're just putting off, stop that. Stop it. Start writing that book. Start editing that book. I don't really love talking about it publicly because I'm very careful about that. But I have been working on a book for the last 4 or 5 years now. It's creative fiction, and I've rewritten it so many times, but one thing that I kept doing was working on it and writing on it, thinking about it, putting energy towards it. I never was oh yeah. I mean, there have been moments where I maybe went a week or so without tending to it, maybe a couple weeks if it's that sort of season. But I make sure to go back to it, But, for some of you, you really need to kick yourself in the ass about it. I get it. I started this thing that eventually I'm going to write a Patreon post about. Or maybe I'll just make a video about it. Maybe that'll make more sense. But I did this thing, this manifestation technique, the 369 method. And I modified it because I'm a crazy person. And I was you know what? This is probably not going to work if I just do it regular. So I did it but I did it like on crack. Like I wrote several pages within a day. The way that it's supposed to work is you're supposed to write a page a day, right? And it's supposed to be 3 times in the morning, as soon as you wake up, your desire, 6 times in the evening, your desire, or alternatively, like a feeling attached to your desire. So like, because a feeling is part of the secret, we all know that. And so it is really necessary to like involve your emotions when you can. And then 9 times in the afternoon, like right before you go to bed. And because I'm crazy once again, and I don't have a regular sleep schedule, I was like, I'll just write it a bunch of times throughout the day. And I did that for a good while. And I was doing that. And it was like on the 24th day, I started, okay, actually the reason why I even mentioned it is because I started it the day before the beginning of a month. So technically it's like one number off when I like go by like what number day it is, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my OCD talking. I started a day before the month began because I'm the type of person who's like, I just need to start it. I just need to get this shit done. Like if I have to force myself, so be it. Like I do procrastinate, don't get me wrong. But once I'm about it, once it's on my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to do something about it, Like I procrastinate in the sense that like I don't often finish things when I want to finish things, but I usually start, And I'm a starter, I guess. I do have a Libra ascendant. It's Libra season also, by the way. Happy Libra season. And then also I have a Gemini and a Virgo moon. I have a Gemini sun and a Virgo moon, which those are mutable energies. I'm very mutable. I'm very like fluid. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm all about starting. Like even if you don't finish, like at least start. At least like put energy toward it. So like once again, if you haven't started writing that book, if you haven't started, that idea, write it down. Like get a Google Docs and like type it out. Like do something about it. Don't just like let it sit in your head and let it be something that follows you, that you just ignore. Like also the idea of ignoring one's intuition is crazy to me. Like I do not understand why people like, don't get me wrong, I understand why people ignore their intuition. I get it. Fear is a huge thing, uncertainty, etc., discernment or lack thereof, etc. These are reasons to ignore one's intuition. But like, I don't know. The more I develop my own spirituality, the more that I get in tune with my spirit, like, the more I'm just like, it's crazy that people just ignore their intuition. Because it gets so loud and it gets so obvious. I'm like, that was obviously a message. And I don't always follow it, but I will not ignore it. I'm not going to just pretend like it's not happening. Like, I think another reason for not following it is because of misinterpretation. A lot of people, like, because a lot of people like me can say that, like, they've had these abilities for all their life, like since they were little. And I could probably say the same thing, but I just didn't know what it was. I didn't interpret it as what it was meant to be interpreted as, like anxiety and, like, things like that. Like, that's intuition. Like anxiety, I don't have anxiety. I don't even claim anxiety anymore because now I'm like fully cognizant of the fact that, like, how do I say this in a non-judgmental way? Most people are pretty wicked in spirit, pretty like nasty in energy, without judgment. It just is what it is. A lot of people are very corrupt, in one way or another. And when you're around people like that and you're very sensitive, you pick up on a lot of things, you feel that in some way, shape, or form, A lot of people are deeply unsettled also is another thing I've personally been learning, and I've been learning how to navigate because I feel very deeply in the sense that, like, my body sometimes literally just feels the aches and pains of other people on an emotional level a lot of the time. So I don't always, like, I'm getting better at it, I think, at pinpointing where it's coming from. But most people aren't going to admit to it. Like when they're feeling a deep, unsettled sadness, You know, most people aren't going to admit to it. Most people don't even recognize it within themselves. They're just holding the energy. You know what I mean? And so it's something you have to like be wary of. And so like with anxiety, like it feels like I need to get out of here. My body is like vibrating. This feels sucky to be around these people. And it's because like most likely your body, your senses know something that you don't consciously know, you know? Because when you're tuned in, when you're tapped, tuned in, turned on, when you're connected, like, it can be dangerous if you're not aware of your connectedness because you feel so much around you that is going on, but it's not always super easy to figure out that it's not yours. Like sometimes I have to literally like, and maybe it's the gods, maybe it's external voices, but I will say sometimes I have to talk to myself and like, you know, gauge whether or not a feeling is coming from within or externally. Because like this morning I was in the shower and I randomly had this wave of sadness and I was like, this is really intense. And I'm not the type of person to just shy away from a feeling. Like I let it flow through me. I like felt it. And I was like, this isn't mine. This is not my feeling. But now it's in my body. And so, you know. And there is something to be said about the fact that like it might be something that is dormant within you if you are able to pick up on it as a sensitive, as an empath. This is something we could say. But when you hone in on your quote-unquote psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities, then it becomes another thing because you're intentionally picking up on the feelings of others. So it's like, it's no longer just about you. It's no longer accidental because if it's accidental, once again, it's because it's already there. And, you know, we exist within the context of all that existed before us. And most likely, if you're a human alive, you have a lineage of two different varieties that span back a very long time, you know, because your parents had parents, their parents had parents, and so on and so forth. And so, you know what I mean? And wow, I just like started thinking about the idea of me having a kid or kids. Because I know I would put my all into that. I would like really like devote time. Like once they had cognitive abilities, I would really be on it about like guiding them and helping them. Because woo-cha, you know what I mean? Anyways, but also I'm kind of scared of that because I've made my life very public. I talk a lot about my experiences and like what I know. And at the same time, I'm very spiritually aware, and I've been glazing over this subject of like gang stalking and like destiny swapping and shit like that for the last few days. And I don't know, I kind of take everything with a grain of salt. I try to like remain grounded in reality to some extent. But I don't know, some things you become aware of and it's like, okay, that's weird. That's a tad bit concerning. You know what I mean? So, y'all be safe out here. Like, I don't know. Like, not many people watch my videos quite yet. Occasionally I have bursts of views. I don't know where they come from. But if you're watching this and you're a highly sensitive person and you're like super like, you know, psychic, please be careful. Like, as you're developing, as you are like, even like when you feel like you're done developing, there's no such thing as being done developed. There's always new ways to exist and whatever. But when you feel like you're like developing, like, please be careful about like who you keep inside your energy. Like, I don't know, because when we talk about psychic energy, like I've been reading a lot about, or not I say reading, but I've been watching a lot of content about being psychic. Also, I'm going down a motherfucking hill. I've been consuming a lot of content about psychic energy, and I don't know, I've always had an open mind, but like I definitely feel like my mind has been expanded quite a lot the last few days. Like, my understanding of things have, like, grown a lot. Okay, I'm gonna slow down. Woo! Oh my God. Okay. Woo! This is a beautiful experience you get to share with me. One like no other. Yeah, yeah. Except I have recorded a video with me on a bike before. Oh goodness. I thought there was another bike. I heard what sounded like another bike. That's crazy. Okay, so it's a beautiful day. Today's a nice day. The last few days have been really gross and rainy and nasty, so I'm thankful, I guess. Also, since we're talking about psychic energy, low key, we could talk about how, like, I don't like talking in this language, but we as chosen ones, we as like enlightened individuals, we as like those with a heightened awareness of the energy field are often partially in control of the weather that happens seemingly naturally. Like, when you start getting more in touch with your emotions, when you start getting more in tune with how you feel and whatnot, you will notice that the weather reflects that a lot of the time. And, you know, we could talk about the Matrix. Like, I recently watched a spiritually coded video talking about the Matrix and whatnot. And I haven't talked about it, like, specifically, but the book that I've been working on, one of the books that I've been working on, because I'm doing several things, does have, like, Matrix in the title. But I think it can be kind of dangerous to think about the world as a matrix, like a simulation. Like, it's possible. I feel like, you know, sometimes I have those moments where I'm like, am I just an alien inside of a test tube being experimented on? You know, like, sometimes I genuinely, like, I've had quote unquote delusions like that. And I don't, last time I talked about one of my delusions, it was like a really popular video, so maybe I need to talk more about my delusions. I don't know. We'll see how this video does. I'm not really betting on it doing any significant numbers. I just make these videos to make these videos. But yeah, y'all be safe. Y'all be careful out here, because it's crazy. I don't know what it's like on the other side of that crazy. I mean, I've had a taste going through psychosis and whatnot, but like, yeah, y'all be careful. People be doing some crazy shit out here, so thank you for being here on this planet. I love you. Have a good one. Bye.